Good morning, everybody. This is one more session about this series, what we call as Interview Towards Interview Triple I. So, when you go to an HR, you have passed all the exams. You have passed your technical skills, your VQAR, your whatever, whether it is an MCQ or a written or a coding program, whatever you do, you are done with that and you have finished it properly. So now you meet this fellow called HR. So what does this HR really does, or what is his job? That is what we are going to see. Actually, not his job. What he has to offer in terms of looking into your skill sets and how he looks into what are the things the HR is really looking forward from a candidate who has passed all the rounds and still waiting for this final call. I have slightly adjusted the camera. Okay. I'm not editing it. I'm just putting it as it is. So all these things will be there. There are various terminologies that we are using in HR questions: stress interview, this interview, that interview. There is one term called psychometrics. So psychometrics, I don't want to go with the literal meaning of what he is and what he is looking for, but even a normal question, a very normal questions, can give too many choices for a candidate to answer, and the kind of impact that it can have over your interview or your scores that you get in the HR interview is very, very important. So we will just see what it is really, a simple question, how it can take you up. If something can take you up, something can take you down also. So how you answer this question, let us see. What will you do if you get a better job? We want things to get better, isn't it? Always. From a single to two runs to a boundary to a sixer. And of course, we want Dhoni to win the match. Good, hello, this Chennai Super Kings team, but unfortunately, they're not doing well now. In Tamil Nadu, Chennai Super Kings is a religion, believe me. Though I don't, but once in a while. Okay, what will you answer for this? What will you do if you get a better job than this? Are you going to say no, or are you going to say yes? The moment you say no, you're done. No, I don't want your job, I'll go for your better job. That's it, interview is over by itself. I don't know, sir, I will say to that job, no to that job, and come to you and work in your company. Would you, if you are a HR, will you believe that answer? See, look at this deal. If you say yes, you're in trouble. If you say no, you're in trouble. What to do with these kind of questions? That is why I put these simple questions into a collection called Interview Towards Interview, because this is not always about how to answer it. Not just the yes or no way, but how you derive to that answer step by step, one by one. That gets you, and also how you communicate it properly with the HR. So these are the aspects that we will see. How can you answer this question? I don't want to read everything from what is in the PPT. But one interesting thing is the student attitude. Now, there's a lot of difference between answering a teacher and answering a HR. Because for the teacher, you just need to give the answer, he need to reward your mark, or at least he need to compensate something with his marks. He's supposed to do all those things. A HR is not meant to do any of those things. He is not answerable. If he doesn't select you, if he selects you, he is 100% answerable. So nowadays I am seeing more nervous HRs than candidates because their job depends upon how you perform once you get selected. And if he selects you, he need to vouch for you. So he's actually very curious on you. There are some prank answers like this. My girlfriend is working here. I also want to work here. And some people try to be diplomatic, saying, "Oh, sir, it is okay, sir. I somehow want to work in this company because my brother told me, my father told me," or somehow quite naughty answer. "So you pay a little better than them, sir. I'll work for you." These are last bench answers, some of them. But this is like an infinitive. There is any number of answers that you can give. But basically, it ranges like this: I get the job, I don't want the job, I'll still stick to you. These three other ways. There is no other way to answer this. So, one at a time. A HR will try to beat you when you say, "No, sir, I work in this company." He will ask you, "Oh, if somebody pays less, you still want to work, why not I reduce the salary even more by half? Will you still work?" Now, that is the time when you go for a mumbo jumbo and mumble. You won't be able to answer him. Because what he asks is a very logical question, isn't it? If you are willing to work for a lesser salary, once you say, "Sir, I am not bothered about salary," and you say this, then he will automatically say, "Let me reduce your salary. It's good for my company also. Why don't you work for us?" That's quite common. Or if you say you are a very good fellow, very good thing, very good, very good, very good, this very goodness will become very boring after some time. So, most important thing about this answer is how you move and elevate yourself from one answer to the next answer. So this is the key for it. How to answer this question is this, always this: giving a point and building over it, by but at the same time not stuck into the same point. In any interview, do not give the same answer again and again. If different questions are asked, you try to answer the different aspects of it. If you constantly try to answer the same way, people will just think you're just stuck with something. That won't work. Getting stuck is the last thing you should do in the HR interview, because this means you're not open for new things, or you're stuck. Nobody wants a stuck fellow, okay? Mm-hmm. One of pick from a Tamil movie. I used it. Tamil Nadu people know what the movie is. It's a kind of a melodrama. You know, the Shah Rukh Khan, Kiran Johar, Amitabh Bachchan, all these people. This family stuff. If you say, "My brother told me, my senior told me, my head of the department told me," it clearly proves that you have not done your work by yourself. You're just relying on somebody, which means you're not autonomous in your nature. You're just passive, not active. You say, will you recruit a active fellow or a passive fellow? And why? You know? So normally recommendations, please don't bring them to the interview, because nobody can recommend you for a job anymore. That days are gone, long gone. Every single MNC is looking to move up. Every single startup is trying to become a pioneer in a very short period of time, and it is happening. Today I witnessed something more, you know. 3 months work, what they have done for Corona is unbelievable. I will make a case study of that also sometime. It's not possible for me to route that YouTube video, otherwise I will do that also. So do not hide under somebody's shade. That will not help you. So never ever give a recommendation sheet and say somebody recommended it, which means you are very blind to reality and just going with somebody's word, which means you are not open, which means you are not really aware of what is happening around you. Whether you are a boy or a girl, it doesn't matter. You should be active. That is what a company expects, to be spontaneous. So this question will mentally prove. That is why I said it's a simple question, but you can mess up in a very big way. This is why I said psychometrics and all these kind of words from dictionary, just to make you understand this is very much needed now. Money. Oh, if you say Either you give me more money, that's a very bad place to bargain. Okay, believe me, it's a very bad place to bargain when you're a fresher, because your salary is 99% fixed. So there is no bargaining for a fresher. Maybe some remote incidents may happen, but normally when your placement director comes to you, he is saying this is a qualification, this is the salary, these are the posting. So which posting you may go, that's the salary. It's not going to increase. Your performance will get, that may be after 3 months, 6 months, 1 year reviews. That is different. Everybody wants money, but money is a token. Just with the token, what to do? I don't want to go into the philosophy of that. You keep your money, but right now it's not time to show your pocket. It's time to show your head. So don't give money as the only reason. Money is a reason, but not the only reason. Please understand this. When HR asks you for the money and salary, you can use some other terms. We will have a separate question over it. How to, oh, not really, but you know, how to ask for a salary. Negotiation is not a right word for a fresher, but we will have one session purely on that, how to speak about financial matters. And also, even if you're not a fresher, if you're an experienced fellow and if you're moving, then yes, there is always a negotiation. They have two numbers. This is the lowest, this is the highest, in between. So how to do that, we'll have a session. But right now, please don't splash it on the face. Just don't give any kind of uh, money is cannot be the key. Okay, it can be a factor, definitely a factor, but do not show it off. I wish to join a government job, so this is any number of fellows. Good boys, good girls. You can join a government job. You can even join international jobs. That's okay. International government jobs, you know, whatever. But do not give that answer to a HR. I want to work in a limited time, limited period. Because once you say that, a HR needs to spend at least 1 year to train you in different aspects, and only then he can get a limited percent of turnover and your work, your salary. It's a long term process. If it is an MNC, they are looking really for a long term process. So if you give an answer which is like, I'll work for a short time with you, sir, and then I'll move, nobody will recruit you. Nobody. If you have a company, will you recruit a fellow who is saying, I'll work for 3 months, or somebody who is saying, sir, I'm devoted to the job and I'll work? Well, who will you choose? Because choosing you for an interview itself is a very costly process. Somebody has to send, and all the data have to be sent, travel, now COVID time, so webinars and webcam, but still that cost, isn't it? Somebody's time is getting cost. Out of 500 people, if they select 50 people, even 10 minutes with 500 fellows, look at the number of working hours that we need to put into. Right. So they are very sincere. This is actually a clue of how to answer this question. Straight arrow, isn't it? What do they want? What are they really looking for in this question? What does the panel want? When they are asking somebody this kind of question, they are looking for commitment, they are looking for sincerity, they are looking for consistency, they are looking for discipline, they are looking for somebody who looks beyond and stays. His foot should be grounded. Your vision may be up, but your foot should be grounded. Otherwise, you will fall down, right? So, when somebody asks this question, the panel is looking for somebody who looks at a job as a long term commitment, who looks at the job from different angles about how to do this well, what are the things we can try. Someone who can think beyond the normal limitation and still get into it. That is the exact candidate they are looking for. A committed fellow with a long term goal. So the company's goal and your goal needs to be the same. Otherwise, we can't work. Okay. So this is one thing. We can look at some other aspects of the company, not just a salary. So how to present them? If you say some, I happened to interview a few of the fellows, and I asked them, "Why do you want to join this company?" It was for a company, and I was in the panel for as a HR. They had different fellows in the panel. We have a technical fellow. We have somebody who look at the language. Somebody look at the body language. It depends. There are different kinds. So I asked him, "Why do you want to join this company?" He said, "This is the best company in the country." The company HR told, "When the hell did we advertise like that?" He said, "I saw it on Google." This is something I find quite a bit awkward when students say, "We saw it on Google." Google is a search engine, guys. If you're going to say something about the company, which means you need to research about the company. So, what are the aspects of the company that you're going to look for and where? Maybe leading companies list announced by the government of the country, or some software giant, if it's a software company. Some genuine authority, if it gives you, that will show the company's credibility. So when you go for it, you look for something more. So that shows you that you are a researcher, not just a committed fool, but a committed, intelligent researcher who is looking forward. So you could have heard all these stories where people didn't even take up offers and went to a startup directly because they felt their startups can give them something. True. Yes, it has been a fact to the fellows who want to do that in the right way. If they did it, definitely yes. So, a dream job. Define what's a dream job for you so that the company HR can grab you. Dreaming alone too. Yes. There is something called the share market. So, the growth of the company shares or something. We can look at a company and the company website. We can clearly see the press releases. You can go to the LinkedIn and see what are the leading people doing there. They'll post something. Uh, Newspapers are quite out of style nowadays about company growth because too many companies. They could have written something about topmost companies, but still, even the topmost companies, there are many aspects which have not been dealt with. So those aspects do exist. Glassdoor or LinkedIn or these are websites. Tomorrow we can have even better names of websites, uh, better facilitated websites. So that are there. The reviews of the companies by previous employees are there. Present employees are also there. And the accreditation, what kind of accreditation they have got globally, achievements they have done, and please name it clearly and correctly, but don't try to really show it off by giving a kind of list of 50 items because anybody can buy heart such thing. Just quote what are needed, at least have 4 to 5 things in your mind, so when the time comes we can just speak about it. We should this we need to do with every company. Okay, so whenever a company comes, we need to make a study over the company. See, you're going to be there for years. Okay, this is the first company, which means this is your life. Don't you want to have something sensible with that? So research in various ways. What are the new R&Ds which they are signing and with whom they are signing? So if they sign with a prominent company, you can understand it is going in a very straight path because that company will also have done research, the tie-up, the brands, everything. So when you speak about these aggregation, these R&Ds, these shares and these growth, now they would every company HR really loves a person who has done sensible research over the company. Um, that is very important, and It's very easy nowadays to do that online, sensible online. Answer to this question: commitment. This picture of Sachin Tendulkar, that was the only time he wore that kind of uh, helmets. Otherwise, it was always painted black. This time he used something painted white, maybe to kind of a strategy that he used. His father passed away during that World Cup. I think it is in England. He left, and his family, when he came back, they just asked one question: "Why did you come back?" It was a World Cup, and his family expected him to stay back, not to come. This man came and did the rituals, and he took the flight and went back and played this game, and he hit a century. I still remember that time when he came to the man of the match and said, "I dedicate this to my father who is no more." With teary eyes, Sachin Tendulkar. Out of all the centuries, maybe this may stand out in my mind because to hop up with that kind of personal loss is not very easy. That's the kind of commitment. That is when heroes are made. So, one key to job. Oh, I'm not trying to be advising you. I'm just putting the sequence. I don't want to advise you. I just want to throw lights on the right things. The entire series of this YouTube, we just want to put the lights on. That's the idea. If you really want a graphical thing, let me do this. We just want to put the lights on. The idea is, I'm going to put the lights on. You decide what is your path. I never want to decide what's your path, because if somebody does it to me, I won't like it. I respect you on that scale. The same way I look at me. So now it is up to you. If they ask this question, I have given a series of answers. I'm not trying to answer in terms of 2 lines, 3 lines, 4 lines. The idea is, don't try to copy paste. We have given you enough symptoms, we have given you enough suggestions, we have given you what are the kind of answers to answer and not to answer. Now you pick up your own way, play the game. I don't want to do anything else, okay? Job satisfaction. Maybe that may be the next question. It was nice speaking to all of you. Actually, I don't know none of you, so thank you, all of you.